Okay, for tonight's practice, I'm going to change my view, change your view so I can keep this in the recording. So let's pin the video, and guys onto mute. There we go. So yeah, for tonight's practice, because we're moving very much, aren't we, into this autumnal feel, very changeable time of the year. I know that I've talked about this a lot in the past and probably even a lot in the last week or so. But when we move from summer to autumn, we transition quite quickly through a couple of elements. So summer is the element of fire. That seems fairly obvious, isn't it? Then we move into late summer, which is the element of earth. So fire is high, it's light, it's heavenly. And then earth is the solid, it's down, it's back in the ground, it's anchoring us. And we should eat the things that come from the earth. And then we move really quickly from the earth time of the year into metal. And metal is autumn, and metal is all about dryness. So we go from this heat of the summer to the dampness of late summer and the earth, because obviously the earth needs the water to nourish it. And then we have the metal, which is the dryness. And um, metal lives in the lungs, and the lungs are all about our immunity. So, a lot of what we want to be doing at this particular time, this transition into autumn, is supporting the lung health and keeping our immunity high. So, lots of good sleep, lots of nourishing food, because obviously that keeps us well. And one of the best things that we can do for our lungs is support it with breath work. So the practice tonight will have a little bit more focus on the breathing. I know I do that a lot anyway, but just we're going to breathe into different parts of the body, different areas of the lungs. And because when we do that, when we put our attention into different zones and places in our bodies, it nourishes it. And where our mind goes, prana follows. Okay, so that's probably the lesson, the lecture for tonight. What I want us to do to start, please, is to come lie down, but I'd like you to lay down on your tummy. So make a pillow like this with your palms to rest your forehead on, or use a blanket or a prop if you need one. And if you need something soft, for instance, underneath the front of the hips, please take it. Or maybe you'd like a blanket underneath the chest. So make sure that you are comfortable because you're going to be here for a few minutes. Okay. So settle yourself onto the front of your body and just take some time to let the body find its ease in this position. Let the legs lengthen. So maybe fidget the legs, maybe stretch them longer, send the toes further down the mat and ease the thigh bones out of the hip sockets a little. Maybe just shimmy the hips side to side a couple of times, loosening any tightness in the lower back. And then check in with the shoulders and the upper body and your arms. Check in with whether they're in a good position for you. Does it feel like you can be comfortable in this space? And then we just settle. Once all the adjusting has happened, everything necessary taken care of, Now you can let your spine sink into your body. Now we thought about the breath moving along the spine. I want us to continue with that. So think back to Tuesday, and on the inhalations, what we did was we breathed down the body towards the tailbone. And on the exhalations, we breathe back along the spine towards the back of the head or the top of the head. So for these next few breaths, make that your focus. And watch, please, how your spine changes shape as you breathe. And allow the back of your body to fill up with breath. Allow the back of the body to move in response to your breath. Breath moving down the spine on the inhale and back up the spine on the exhale. Please take one or two more breaths here. Before you take your time to lift yourself up onto your elbows. And we make our way into Sphinx pose, which will be our next shape, which will hang out here for about 3 minutes. So you could put some extra padding underneath your elbows. You could create more lift if you want a deeper back bend, or move the elbows away from you if you want less of a back bend. Now our focus is a little bit more into the lower back, particularly. And this area of the body, it houses the kidneys. And the kidneys act like your body's anchor. And they actually govern the inhalation, because that anchoring draws the breath down towards the kidneys. So your kidney chi, your kidney energy, is responsible for the inhalation, and your lung chi is responsible for the exhalation. Because the lungs are about letting go. And that's what autumn is symbolized by, isn't it? It's the letting go, the change, accepting the changes that are happening. But we can only let go if we have that anchoring, the support, the solidity of a strong foundation beneath us. And so this pose helps to nourish and support the kidney region, the kidney energy particularly. So we like to have a nice curve in the lumbar spine. And keep focusing on the breath, just for this last little bit of time, last minute here. Focusing on the inhalation, moving down your body, maybe just down to the lower back region, maybe down to the tailbone if you want to go that far down. Remembering it's your kidney energy, the strength of the energy, which is drawing the breath in. So shallow breaths can be weakness in the kidney region or kidney chi. And then the exhalation, there's that lovely sense of release. And because the chest is open, you're propped up, this might feel quite a nice place to be. Take 1 or 2 more breaths here, please. And at the end of an exhalation, just slowly and gently ease yourself back down onto your front body. All right, so just 1 or 2 more breaths. And then I'd like you to prop yourself up and come to sit, please. So you're going to turn around to the side of your mat, and we're going to sit in dragonfly pose, which is the wide-legged seated position. Now, obviously, if this doesn't sit well with your hips, then please change it to something that does. It could be that your feet are closer together. It could be that you sit in a butterfly shape. It could be that you have your feet flat and your knees bent. So please feel free, because I want this to be a little bit about the hips, but I also want you to fold forwards. So in a perfect world, we're folding forwards with the legs wide, but if this doesn't suit your body, please change your leg position. I am sitting on one of the yoga blocks, but you could sit on a blanket. You could also use your bolster, so you could use your bolster to fold forwards onto, for instance. So play around to your heart's content. Now, I like to just lift the sit bones up and throw them backwards a little bit. And what that does is it creates a tilt forwards through the pelvis, because that's where you're going with this, okay? It's this movement down here, okay, in this pelvic bowl. You want to tip it forwards, please. Find the front edge of your sit bones, whatever leg position that you're in, and then let your upper body round forwards. And as you can see, I haven't gone very far. I'm not trying to desperately to get super close to the ground or anything like that. But I am tipping the pelvis and I am letting the upper body round. And now my attention on my breath goes to the back of my lungs, and in particular the lower half of the lungs rather than the upper half in the shoulder blade region, back of the sort of collarbones, behind the collarbones. But instead I want to go down into the lower parts of the lung space, and I'm still breathing into the back of the body because we have an awful lot of our lung tissue there on the back. When we think about our breath, we always think about breathing into our bellies and the breath coming into the front of the body. But if we can remember that a lot of our breath is in the back of the body, a lot of our availability of our lung tissue is behind us. And if we can nourish it by keeping it open, by breathing into it regularly, then this can help our immunity to stay a little bit stronger. You got about 1 more minute here. Keep breathing into the back, breathing into the middle of the back and the lower portion of the lung space. Take your last breath here. Softly, slowly lifting yourself out of your forward fold. Neutralizing the legs. Maybe leaning back into the hands a little bit. You might feel really stiff. I know I do. And then if you like, you could just have a little rock. Softly, knees rocking side to side, if that feels welcome. Perhaps you'd rather stay more still. Okay. And then just rest, maybe lean back into the hands, stretch the legs out, give them a little bit of a shake. Okay. So, where to next? She says. I'd like to take a little bit of a side bend next. I'm going to suggest two poses. Number one is banana pose. So if you know that you'd like to lie down and you find that one easy and accessible, then please take it. Or you can come with me. We're going to take either this leg position, so I'm bending one knee and rolling it out to the side. So this is option number one. Option number two is to cross the legs over like this. And then option number three is to come into a full kind of shoelace position. But this is a side bend, remember. So therefore, if you feel that this is too strong for the hips or not great for your leg alignment, then take banana pose instead. Because my focus, my target area for you is your spine. Okay. So whatever you feel like doing, that's what we'll tackle. Now, if you're like me and you're in shoelace or any variation, even if this leg is straight and this leg is here, you are folding towards the top leg or the bent knee side. Does that make sense? So this is, let's say that I'm mirroring you, this is my left, I'm folding to the left, okay? So just so that you can be clear about that. Now, please, please, please don't sit like this if it aggravates your knees. Please come into banana pose. And in banana pose, it doesn't matter what side you side bend into. The other thing to think about is that when you lean to the side, you might want to put your hand or your elbow onto something. So maybe have a brick there or even your bolster or something just to lean to. Another thing to think about, she says, I'll finish in a sec, I promise, is this top arm, as it comes in front of you, it might cause you to want to tilt forwards. And we don't want that. We want to keep it in the side of the body. So sometimes just hanging the arm behind you, just loosely draping it behind your waist is a nice option. Okay, so this is essentially it, taking a little bit of a side bend. And now you are breathing, particularly here along the side. You've got your spleen channel and your gallbladder channel here. And they are, spleen is the earth and gallbladder is wood. So wood is your upright support structure. It's all about growth and change. And then earth is that change as well, but in a different way. It's that letting go. So they're the two opposite sides of the seasons. You've got the spring, which is, wood, which is springtime, and then earth, which is the moving into autumn time. So just stay here. I need to put my timer on. I haven't done it. Now, if your head gets tired, just lean your head up a little bit so that you're not straining your neck. And direct your breath into this exposed side of your rib cage and lung space. So all your breath is going into that lung on that side of your body. Take 2 more breaths here, please. And then softly and slowly come back and take your time. Unravel the legs, but remember which leg was on top. Okay, which leg was on top of the other. Just give your legs a chance to stretch out. Maybe give them a little bit of a shake. Okay. So then we come directly into the next pose. So we're going to do 2 poses back to back, and then we'll take a longer release after the both. Okay. So previously I had this leg rolled out to the side and crossed over. Now I'm going to roll the leg in like this. Now we're coming into half saddle, so just watch me, okay? So just watch for a second. So the pose can look like this, with this leg rolled in and this foot kind of out wide to the side. So you might want a blanket or something underneath your ankle or your knee. The alternative is to come with both knees bent and rock both knees to the side like this. So this is just what we do kind of really nearly in every class that I teach. So if you don't like doing it and it feels that that is much, much more challenging, do it with both knees and you might find that it's a bit easier. Okay, so this is kind of option number 1. Option number 2 is to bring the foot a little bit closer in if you want to. And then option number 3 is about what you do with your upper body. So you could just stay propped up on your hands and whatever leg position you choose. And you could come down onto your elbows, maybe after the first minute or so. Maybe you come all the way down onto the back of your body. So there's always a journey to go on. So feel free to have a little bit of a play and a little bit of an explore. You can do this all from your back. So you could come and lie down. You could just rock your knees over to one side and you could reach for this foot and just kind of hold on to it. And you're going to get the stretch into the quad on the front of the thigh. Okay, so wherever you go, I know I've given you so many instructions. Just have a play, consider where you want to be. Make sure that you're feeling this stretch in the front of the thigh of the leg that you have rotated inwardly. Whether you're sitting up or lying down does not matter. However, you are creating a little bit of a back bend. You're creating a little bit of an arch again in your lower body and into one side of your body more than the other side. So for me, my right leg is bent. My right side and right lung space now feels a lot more exposed. So I've flipped over. I've gone from my left to my right. And now my breath is into the right hand, the other lung. Okay. And that's where I want you to focus your attention now, your energy on your breath. Breathing into the lung that feels just a little bit more spacious now. And you're going to take one or two more breaths here. And then gently release. If your legs are, or if you're lying down, then you're in a great position because you can stay lying down, just unravel the legs and let yourself rest. And we'll take just like a 2-minute Shavasana. All right, so softly and slowly rolling yourself to the side so you can come round and up to sit. So it's your shoelace or variations on that theme on the other side. So this time for me, it's my left leg. So mirroring, it will be your right leg or what it looks like to be your right. So option number one, option number two, option number three, if you want to come into more of a full shoelace, but just take super good care with the knees. It doesn't have to look like this at all, okay? We're then side bending. So whatever is your top leg, that's the side that you're leaning towards, okay? Doesn't have to be a big movement, okay? I've got quite an intense feeling of stretch all the way around this hip and outer thigh. And I can kind of play with it a little bit into the side of the body, but remember the focus is on soft breaths and being able to breathe easily. So breathe into this exposed side of your body from your armpit right down to your waist. And also for this whole lung on this side, think about your breath moving into that lung more than it does on the other. I know we breathe into them equally, but something about changing our position. Maybe when you close your eyes, you can have more sensory awareness on the lung filling with breath and releasing as you let go. Okay, so we'll take our last two breaths. And then we'll softly come back up and we'll sit and release the legs. So just take your time. I'm sorry about all the clicking noises. I'm gonna have to figure this out. So they're still getting used to the heating being on and going on. And yeah, the water moving through the pipes is making a kind of clicking noise. So I'll have to figure that out. Okay, so just ease your legs into something that sort of resembles a neutral. I put my jumper here because I was going to put it on because I was getting cold, so I must have known that the heating was going to come on. Okay, so then we come to our half saddle. So it could be that the knees just fall to the side on the opposite side and you hang out there. You could use your blanket, remember, underneath your knee or your ankle. So don't forget that that's an option. The other thing is to internally rotate the leg, remember, so you've got this work going on through the thigh. But please just take care with your knees, okay? If you do anything that aggravates your knee, then or it feels just a bit twingy, then modify it and make it much softer for your body. Okay, so you could just lean back into the hands. You could put your bolster behind you and lean back onto that. You could come down onto your forearms or onto your back. And you could reach for your foot and bring your foot a little bit closer towards your shoulder or your armpit. Depends how your foot feels tonight, how your ankle feels, how your knee feels. And then the direction of the breath is into the other lung. So we just flipped it over to the other side. And hopefully that feels good to breathe here. All right, so we'll take our last few breaths here. So be really kind to your body as you come out of this. Don't be in a rush. Gently release the legs, especially if they feel like they've got a bit stuck in the position. And find a neutral shape. Just anything that feels good. Maybe you can extend the legs away from you. Rest yourself down. And totally relax your upper body, your shoulders. Take a really deep breath in. Fill yourself up with breath. And release all of it. Every last drop. Okay, so we then think about coming into our final shape. And I'd like to take a lying back bend of your choice. The options are this. So number one is that you take your blanket and you roll it up, make a little bit of a sausage, and you put that underneath your upper back. Okay, so that's option number one. Or option number two is you could do something like that. So you could keep the blanket there, but you could also lift the hips up as well and then stretch the legs out. So that can feel quite nice too. It's a little bit less of a back bend actually because you are elevating the hips. So if you want more of a back bend, you can take the brick away and then you've got a little bit more, if you like, a little bit of a deeper curve going on. Okay. But if you don't find this blanket positioning comfortable for you, then leave it out and just support the hips with the blanket or the block. So you're in a supported bridge pose or pontoon pose. And you can rest your arms maybe out wide to the sides, maybe alongside your ears. Okay, whatever feels normal, whatever feels easy. If you want to ease off a little bit, bend your knees. And if you want more of a upper body stretch, then just make the blanket thicker. Okay, so now our focus can move back into the front of the body. So we've done a lot of breath awareness in the back and the sides, and each lung. Now we can make the breath even. Again, breathe into both lungs. Have a sense that your body is filling up with breath. And And as you breathe in deeply, the breath travels right to all the nooks and crannies lurking around in the bottom of each lung space. This is still an easy breath. Please don't apply any force. I don't want you to feel strained in your breath at all. But instead, it's just this lovely realization that you can breathe to all these different spaces in your body. So you're taking your last two breaths. And in a moment you'll come to Shavasana, but please know that if you want to stay as you are on the support, you're very welcome to. Sometimes there can be that reluctance to move and to that desire to want to stay a little bit longer. However, the really nice thing about these upper body extensions for the spine is the coming out. And so maybe it's time to take the props away and lay yourself down and enjoy the gentle feeling of release that happens afterwards. And we'll take a short Shavasana. bear with, I'm just trying to find my book. All right, so spread out. Ease and soften just as you have throughout tonight's practice. But now with that lovely awareness that you've reached the end. The work is all done. The softness can now take over completely. And I'd like you in your mind to repeat this sentence. May each inhalation inspire me. May each inhalation inspire me. May each inhalation inspire me, and each exhalation remind me to surrender. May each inhalation inspire me, and may each exhalation remind me to surrender. May each inhalation inspire me, and each exhalation remind me to surrender. Please, I'd like you to bring your awareness back into this space. And taking a breath in and a breath out, enjoying coming back to life, breathing that inspiration back in. Have a wiggle of fingers and of toes. Take a stretch out any way that feels good. Yes, that's it. And then gently roll yourself over to one side. And you can come round and up to sit. All right, welcome back. Let's finish our practice together by taking the hands out to the sides. And on your next inhalation, raising the arms up high, lovely, palms meet, and exhaling the hands to your heart. And thank you so much for coming to practice together this evening. Very, very well done. Namaste to you all. Have a lovely night's sleep.